overcoming chronic illness, how I got my life back, and you can too. And I'm inviting you to come along on this healing journey with me, which has been quite the wild ride. So I'm thrilled to have you. Thank you. So a little bit about me. I know most of you are familiar with me, but there might be some newcomers as well. And basically, I am a holistic health coach and nutritionist. I was certified through the Institute for Integrative Nutrition, and I specialize in helping other people, particularly women like myself, who are dealing with chronic illness and health challenges, to overcome those and get their lives back like I've been able to do, and hopefully in a much shorter time period than I have actually been able to do as well. Okay, so let's get going. My intention for this webinar is to tell my story, but this is really about you as much as it is me in terms of the insights and information, maybe tips that you can glean to better your health, or even take your health to the next level if you're dealing with chronic illness as well. So I'm going to give you everything I got, everything that I've been through, and in hopes that this is something that really can be beneficial for you and even life-changing. And in the process, we'll get to know each other a little more, and you'll certainly get to know me a little better as we go. So what you may not know about me is that my health challenges have actually really impacted a lot more than just my physical health, and it's something that I considered an embarrassing secret that I was ashamed of for a long, long time, that really impacted my self-esteem, how I was in the world. It kept me at a distance from other people. I didn't let people get too close. It was like a nasty little dirty secret that I tried to hide because I really felt less than because of the struggles I was having on a daily and hourly basis. So I, for the most part, looked fine and didn't look sick. So a lot of people in my life didn't even really know the extent to which I was suffering and struggling, and so there was a lot of that going on, and perhaps that's something you can relate to as well. So my story started, my health story started in my early 20s when I became very sick, and still not exactly sure why or what happened, but it seems like it was probably the perfect storm, or the imperfect storm, as it were, of different factors that all kind of came together, from poor nutrition, not getting the proper nourishment, eating the wrong foods and not even realizing it, dealing with a lot of stress, having troubled family relationships, particularly with my father, having a perfectionistic type tendency that I would put a lot of pressure on myself and cause myself a lot of undue stress. And then I got a flu shot, and I got really sick, and that I just never got better. So perhaps you can relate if you've ever been really sick, really coming down with the flu, where you just feel horrible and achy all over, then you know what that feeling is, and that's something that stayed with me for a long, long time. So of course I went to the doctor. They didn't know what was going on. I saw other doctors, I saw specialists. No one could really tell me why I felt so poorly, and what they offered was to help manage the symptoms with drugs, and so I did try that to see if that was something that would be helpful, and then this just went on. It just dragged on and on for essentially 16 years, and to try and describe it now is so hard, to really give you the idea of how it was, but essentially there was pain and fatigue and mind-numbing lack of energy, just wanting to stay in bed all the time, no motivation, depression, anxiety, everything just hurt. The arthritis in my knees was so bad it actually hurt to walk, and stairs were a nightmare. So there was just a lot going on, digestively, cognitively, and certainly mentally as well as physically. And I would stay in bed for weeks and days and long periods of time where
I want you to
just
jump
didn't have
over
the
to the
wherewithal
special
to
page
really
that I've
accomplish
created,
and
and
of course did not
I'll
impact
see
my
the link.
self-esteem
It's
too.
Natural Health.
And it was a vicious circle. So every aspect of my life was affected. I lost quite a few jobs. I was having a hard time supporting myself, and I weight. Ultimately, all the medical bills started piling up, and I had to declare bankruptcy. I really felt hopeless. I was really at a place where I just wasn't sure how I would go on. So there was a point where I thought about ending my life, or at least wishing that the decision would be taken from me, because I felt like I was dying anyway. On the inside, I felt like I must certainly have something wrong, even though the doctor couldn't quite figure out what was going on. So a lot of people have asked, what did you actually have? What was your diagnosis? And so I'll just go through that. The doctor gave me a diagnosis of fibromyalgia and chronic fatigue syndrome, which is a catch-all diagnosis, which means they don't know what's going on. They don't understand it. They are just trying to treat the symptom. And in some cases, oftentimes they actually do and think that it may be in your head. So, and then along the way, to add insult to injury, I was gaining weight, not sure why, couldn't lose it. I was later diagnosed with leaky gut, autoimmune disease, food
Okay, good. We're hearing.
So a lot going on there. So the turning point, one of the key takeaways I want to give you is that I did stumble around for a long time looking for help, not really getting it, and so easy if you want to just go to the doctor and have them give you a pill or some kind of quick fix. And so getting the right support and the right help and guidance to overcome the health issues has been absolutely instrumental. I have a nutritionist that I really
okay, great. I just wanted to make sure that it wasn't me
and health coaches as well who have guided me.
That's nice. Jeff is inviting me to take another trip with him to see the difference in the new $4.5 million water.
So I don't want you to suffer.
They bought it while he was on vacation. He says, go.
Okay.
are for a reason. These struggles are here to make you stronger, have you believing in yourself more, and really becoming a fuller expression of who you are. So I really do believe that our struggles in life are there for a purpose. And this has brought me to my purpose, which really is helping other people so that they don't have to struggle and suffer like I did. So again, the paradigm shift that comes with that mental part of it is that life happens to me when actually our experience of life comes from our thoughts, our attitudes, our approach, how we are with life. So it's an interplay, it's a relationship. You know, life and our experience of life is like a relationship we're having with someone else. So just recognizing how much of a part you have and how much that empowers you to change your approach, and by doing so, changing your whole experience of life in the process. And I really believe that. So taking personal responsibility is a big piece of that puzzle. And so I had to shift from expecting doctors and other people to cure me to taking matters into my own hands and really realizing that this is something that I had to do for myself. You know, I just really had to be diligent and take that step. So obviously for me, food and nutrition has been absolutely pivotal. And I honestly believe that I wouldn't have been able to heal without that, because health really is all about the digestive system. So what you're taking in is going to manifest in how you feel, and that's just a fact. So I was actually taking in a lot of foods, which I didn't realize at the time, that were basically poison or toxins to my system. And so eliminating those things, you know, has been an amazing turnaround for me. I've been completely gluten and dairy free for 1.5 years, and I also ended up getting rid of eggs because eggs for me were an issue, although I am a big fan of high quality eggs. And as well, the sugars, the sweeteners, all the other things that were doing a disservice to me. So everyone's going to be different in terms of what their body needs. I do honestly believe that gluten doesn't do anyone any favors in terms of the effects that it has on the body and the digestive system, and in terms of creating a leaky gut and or an autoimmune situation. It's all tied in together. So I honestly will advocate that gluten and wheat especially is not helpful, and to crowd it out with other healthier things as much as possible. And if you're already having those types of symptoms, then get rid of it. You know, it's just not necessary. And I actually live my life now with no breads, no pastas, you know, none of that stuff, and it's amazing. So being willing to change my food was a huge piece of this. And here's a chart that just goes through what an ideal meal would be, and this is something that's really good for everyone, even given your bioindividuality can be tweaked a little bit. But you want 60 to 70% of your plate to be those non-starchy vegetables with all the rich phytonutrients, and then you're going to have 25, maybe even 30% of high quality protein. And when it comes to protein, especially animal protein, the source where it's coming from is just crucial. Then you have your healthy fats, and then you have a small amount of the higher starch vegetables. So I will tell you that with my dietary changes, it was really hard. It was a process. So one thing you can do is give yourself compassion and patience when you're making dietary changes, and know that you might go back one step and then forward 2 steps, and that's just how it works. And honoring where you're at, honoring what works for you, and noticing if you need a little more protein or a little more fat, a little less carbs, or whatever it is for you. And one thing I noticed is that with the dietary changes, is that at first I was really looking at it as deprivation. I really felt like, gosh, you know, there's so much I can't eat. And so again, having that paradigm shift where you say, okay, but let's focus on everything I can eat, and there's so many amazing foods out there that I can still have, and I've been, you know, getting creative with combinations and what goes with what and making it really fun, right? Because there's just so much variety and flavor out there that you can still have even when you're not eating a lot of things that most people eat. So just again, that attitude of I'm going to take care of myself no matter what. I'm going to do what's right for me, and I'll be a leader. I'll be an example among the other people that I'm with instead of trying to go along and fit in. You know, I'll make that decision that first and foremost, I have to nourish myself. So that was huge for me, and that's been something that's taken years, but it definitely has happened. Okay, a drink of water. Sleep obviously is a huge piece for pretty much everyone. It's really important to be getting that quality sleep and allowing yourself, giving yourself permission to settle down early. The highest quality of sleep happens between 10 p.m. and 2 a.m. and that's something the Chinese have known for a long time. So if you settle down early and give yourself those hours and really let yourself have what you need, then that's going to be crucial for healing. And I know it's obvious, it's talked about a lot, but it bears repeating. And then if you need some natural sleep aids, I do take a few drops of liquid melatonin every night. I don't need much, but it really does kind of settle my mind so that I'm not having the monkey mind. I also do an appreciation or gratitude exercise. I often will even fall asleep, you know, kind of in the prayer position, giving thanks and appreciating even every little thing from the day. And it really does make a difference to go through that list and acknowledge those things. And also for me, by connecting to a higher power, knowing that I'm safe and I'm protected and that I'm supported in life. So again, that goes back to the mental part of it. Okay, so the fourth way that I healed my body was through detoxification. So obviously you're doing all these great things, you're having some benefit from all of it, but if you don't flush those things out, the toxins are just going to stay in your body. And that's part of weight loss. You know, when I mention weight loss, it's not ever about looks, it's about those toxins actually do get stored in fat cells. So the less fat cells you have, the less toxic you are. So that's one reason why I do think that it's really important to be at a healthy weight, and you know, the confidence and self-esteem that goes along with that. So detoxifying your body through exercise, through drinking a lot of water, and I really think that half your body weight in ounces is minimum. You know, so whatever that is for you, just starting your day off with lots of water and making sure that you have an intake. And later on when we do the free gift that I'll be offering you, there's actually a way of tracking that. So make sure and stay tuned because that's going to be a free download that you'll be able to grab. I've tried everything on the list here. Fasting, juice fasting. I think you all know that in August I did 19 days total of juice fasting to try and heal my body. Colonics and enemas are really helpful, not to be overused, but they definitely have a place. Saltwater flushes, which is just mixing sea salt with water and drinking it and allowing it to flush through this way. So you have your internal cleansing that can happen with colonics and enemas from one side, and then you have it from the other side. And it's really like giving yourself a shower. You know, I mean, we shower our outsides all the time, but with an enema or a colonic, you actually can shower the inside too. So that's a great way to detox. I'm a big fan of hot baths. I take one every night pretty much. I exercise all the time, and I see that exercise is on the list twice. It's really important to move your body and sweat. So with detoxification, you want to think elimination, respiration, and perspiration. Those are the ways that we can get those toxins out. And deep breathing, which is so important in every part of life. It's not just part of detoxification. It's part of the mental. It's part of the physical. So always just taking your deep, full body breaths as much as you can during the day. Okay, and then moving on to body image, which is the fifth way that I worked on healing myself. And basically, for a long time, I felt like I was in a war with my body. It was me against my body against me, and it was just as a very antagonistic thing. And I think that might be the tendency when you are having health issues, is to feel really almost resentful of your body and what it cannot do. So shifting that and making it peace, even if you're still in pain, even if you're suffering and it feels like your body is hurting you, just making peace with that and feeling like, no, actually my body is my best friend. My body is the one that's always there for me and always supporting me. Maybe not at the level that I would want, but certainly, at a level that's really, it's working hard for me all the time. It's really quite amazing what our bodies do for us all the time, and we don't even acknowledge that. So shifting that, and there's different ways you can do that. I like affirmations. I like catching myself if I feel like I'm having a negative thought or I'm down on myself, and catching it and shifting it to something else. You can have a mission statement. This is really powerful. Mine is, I am a strong, powerful, confident woman who takes care of myself and helps others. Something simple that you can always revert back to and sub that out as needed. So body image in general and everything that encompasses, from patience to compassion to awareness to listening to getting quiet, is, I find, really, really important. Okay, number 6 way that I healed myself is through finding better ways to handle stress. So the assumption is that stress is outside of us, and we can't control it. It's just going to happen. It's just a given in life. And it is something that happens in life. It is a given, but the way we handle it is all about us. That's where the choice comes in. So things will happen in life, and we can actually have the awareness and the wherewithal to choose how we handle those stressors. So creating that space between when something happens, a stimulus happens, and our response, and creating a space where we make a decision. How are we going to handle this? And I like to always, this is an old one, but it's a great one. I always like to say to myself, is this going to be important in 5 minutes, in 5 hours, in 5 days, or in 5 weeks? And if the answer is no, then let it go. It's not something that you need to dwell on. And so often we can't do anything about it. So that comes back to knowing that you're supported and protected by the universe, and things will work out. So dealing with stress in healthy, positive ways, knowing that things aren't always going to be perfect, and that's okay. It actually makes us stronger and brighter and more flexible and tolerant if we let it. Stress can actually sharpen us. So it can be a beautiful thing or something that tears us down, and it's really our choice. Okay, so everything I've talked about so far are things that you can work on yourself, and then the next one, support, where that comes in, and again where I want to keep going back to with this webinar, is get the support that you need, because this journey is something that a lot of it you can do yourself, but there are pieces where that guidance and that accountability really do come into play. And it can be your best friend. It can be, someone who is as committed as you are to making these changes. Or in some cases, that's not enough, and you need to find a professional support network, someone who can really guide you and really keep you accountable to your goals. So for me, I will say again that my first nutritionist changed my life, and the other health coaches I've had and continue to have, because it's so important, continue to up my game and keep me moving down that path so I don't become stagnant. And then the other factor for me has been an absolutely amazing boyfriend for the last 6 years. He stood by my side and he's been with me on this journey. And you know, that's been really, for me, really crucial. But getting the support you need in whatever aspect, and we can't all afford health coaches, and I understand that, so there's other ways to do it as well, but finding something that works for you and will keep you moving down that path. And when you're feeling deflated or discouraged, someone who will be there for you and boost you up and, you know, really help you remember why you're doing this, what is the bigger picture. That's so important. Okay, take a drink. So to recap, there's a lot of lessons I've learned, and these are probably only some of them. But first and foremost, make the changes now. You know, start on this journey now. And I know a lot of you have. I know a lot of you have been really diligent with your health, and I just want to congratulate you. That's amazing. You're here. You did the summit. You're really being proactive. So that's one thing that I didn't do and I wish I had done, because I didn't have to suffer for as long as I did. I am now grateful for that journey and appreciative that it happened and unfolded the way it did. But empower yourself to do what needs to be done, and know that you can have the health and the life that you want. And try not to let yourself rely on excuses. Not enough time, not enough money, not enough this or that. That's a scarcity mentality, and that won't necessarily serve you. Get creative. Figure out how can you fit those exercise routines in. How can you have the food, the healthy foods that you want. How can you get creative with the cooking? And I will say cooking on that subject has been really crucial for me too, making your own meals. And then allowing the journey to unfold within those efforts that you're making. And don't strive for perfection. There's no such thing as perfection. So just, you know, striving to be your best self in every moment. And speaking of which, being present, having compassion and patience for yourself is a big theme for me. And never giving up, you know, having that determination. And then last but not least, liking yourself, allowing yourself to like yourself, knowing that you're worth liking. And your body may not be perfect, but love it. Just love it anyway. It's perfect for you right now and will continue to evolve. So I am just so thankful and happy now that I've made it through to the other side, as it were. And I'm so honored to help other people on their journeys too. So putting all those pieces together, I have created a healing program, and I only allow a small amount of people, or I only accept a small amount of people into that program. And basically it's one-on-one coaching to overcome those blocks, to move through whatever might be stopping you from having the health that you desire. And that program is a 6-month program. It's $6,500, so that is an option, and I just want to put that out there. And then I want to let you know that as a listener of this event, you will have an opportunity to download a free health assessment, and you'll just go to transformyourhealthsummit.com/assessment/assessment. That's transformyourhealthsummit.com/assessment. And along with that assessment, if you are a U.S. resident, you'll get a 20-minute, or you'll have the opportunity to get a 20-minute call with me, and that will be a chance to discuss whatever your health concerns are and see if I have any ideas or tips for you, things that would help with you on that. So make sure you grab that. And then I do have a group plan option for those of you who aren't able to work with me one-on-one. And again, having that support, whether it's me or someone else, you know, is just so important along this health journey. So I want to put this out there. And these are some of the benefits that you can get with the program. And it looks like it's going to change your life, and that's because it will. So take a look at that. And here's a little more specifics. So it's a whole food science-based plan. So what we actually do is I'm partnering with a medical doctor in Germany, and we'll send you to a lab in your area to get a blood draw, and that's why I can only work with U.S. People on this, U.S. residents, because I am only certified to do this part of the training with U.S. residents. So we'll send you to a local lab, you'll get your blood work drawn, and based on those customized profile, the blood profile, and some other information we'll get from you, we'll put together a whole foods eating plan. So no supplements. It's really just determining what your body is deficient in and giving that to your body with food. So then along with that comes the personalized assessment, goal setting. It will be a combination of one-on-one sessions with me and group sessions. Then you'll have other educational calls. So I'm actually going to bring in some of the doctors, possibly some of the doctors from the summit, like Dr. Kalish, who I know a lot of you really loved listening to about hormones, possibly some autoimmune specialists. So you'll get an opportunity in a small group setting to ask them questions and get that personalized approach with them and have access to them. You'll get the summit audios will be included, and you'll get a group support from everyone, Facebook page, and really a life plan for success, you know, so that you can take this with you for the rest of your life, and you'll know what to do. You'll have that direction. You'll have the accountability. You'll have clarity. So I have actually been doing this program myself with this German doctor, and I've personally realized so many benefits. I feel like it's been the last piece of my own healing journey. Even, you know, it's been 5 weeks, and I've lost 8 pounds and 2 inches or 2% body fat, 1.5 inches around my waist. So just tremendous results in really a fairly short period of time. And I'm so, so excited now to be able to offer this to all of you. So you can read through. I mean, I really feel like I had done a lot in my healing journey and was doing the right things. This has really been like that last crucial piece. So I'm just so stoked. And then we're starting in January. I can accept 12 to 14 people, and again, they must be U.S. residents. The plan doesn't work for vegans, unfortunately, because a big part of the plan relies on protein, and it's a very specific amount of protein to carbohydrates. So there's just not enough protein sources for it to work for vegans, so I do apologize for that. Vegetarians, yes. And then the last part, in order to be part of this program, is you must be willing to change your eating habits, and I think most of you are. It's a 6-month investment, and it will have a result in a lifetime of health and wellness if you follow the plan and continue with it. It's $700 to reserve your spot for us to start in January, and we can go ahead and get the blood draw in December and kind of get that paperwork out of the way, and then $697 a month for 6 months consecutively. And I am going to open this up to questions. So, okay, wow, it looks like we have quite a few. Go ahead and type your questions in. I'm going to choose some of them, and it looks like timing-wise we're actually doing pretty good. Wow, okay, so I went through that a little faster than I thought I would. So now is the time to give me your questions, and I will answer them. So you can ask whatever you need to about my journey or your own situation. Thanks, Stacy, for your nice note. I appreciate that. And I'm sorry about the extra background noise. I'm just now realizing that some of you are having a hard time hearing, so I apologize for that. Okay, so I do have a question from Neil. Hi, Neil. As you heal further, do you find that even the smallest mistakes make a big impact? Yes, so there is a period of time, and for me, it's been about over a year where I had to be so super careful and strict, and even small mistakes would have an impact on me. As I heal more and more, then I have a little more flexibility, and I'm noticing that I can deviate a little bit more. Still no gluten, still no dairy, still no eggs, minimal sugars, no artificial stuff, all of that. But yes, I think as your body heals and as your digestion heals, you will have more flexibility. You will be able to indulge here and there. And it's really a matter of listening and understanding what works for you. And I still will have moments where I have something, and it's like, okay, that didn't work for me. Make a note, a mental note. Let's not do that again. So, and then another question, how much fruit do you eat? So with this program that I'm offering, it actually requires that you eat 1 apple a day, and that's because apples are so nutritious and they have a lot of fiber in them as well. So for a long time, I was very anti-fruit. I know I was following Mercola and a bunch of other people who said, it's just too much sugar. And I actually think there's a way to have some fruits, some of the lower glycemic fruits, not necessarily a lot of bananas and that sort of thing. But yeah, I do think that you can include fruit in a healthy diet for sure. And again, everyone's going to be different, so in terms of figuring out if that works for you and which fruits work for you. And I will always advocate organic, especially with apples are part of the dirty dozen. So I definitely will say that if you can get organic produce whenever possible, please do. Okay. All right, other questions? And Neil, thanks for all the questions, is also asking, do I take very many supplements? Personally, I take methylated B vitamins because I do have a methylation, a genetic methylation on one side. So I do take the methylated B vitamins. I take fish oils. I take vitamin D, a liquid emulsified vitamin D. And sometimes I take a multivitamin, although not always. And selenium, which is really great for low thyroid or hypothyroidism. So there's certain things I'll just add in here and there, and I take melatonin at night for sleep. So it kind of changes, but I think there's some basics, the ones I just mentioned, which generally speaking are good for everyone: multivitamin, D, fish oils, and then if you need a natural sleep aid, just as minimal as possible, do that as well. Okay. Hi, Diana. Thanks for the question. What do you recommend for chronic pain? Okay, so excuse me for a second. All right, so for chronic pain, gosh, there's so many different ways to approach this. I like magnesium is great. I like magnesium glycinate taken at night up to 300, even 400 milligrams. And magnesium is great for letting the body relax and just soothing the muscles. So that's one thing. I am a big fan of Epsom salt baths. Massage is great. And arnica, which is a homeopathic ointment, can be great for certain areas. Let's say your knees are hurting, your neck is hurting, that sort of thing. So there's a variety of things. Fish oils can actually help lubricate the joints, and of course changing your diet. Probably the main thing with chronic pain is eating the right things and making sure you're not eating the things that are going to cause you problems. And I know for me, the feeling, the pain that I had was rotting from the inside. That's how I would characterize it, rotting from the inside. And really, that was because I wasn't eating the right things. So that's always a great place to start. Okay. All right. Okay, thank you. This is from PP, and they are asking, my question is, do you have a social life with your early sleep schedule? And if you do, did you or do you ever go out to eat? It's hard to find pure, whole, clean food in restaurants. That is absolutely true. Okay, so do I have a social life? I do, somewhat. I make healing and my health a priority over my social life, and I've done that for a while. For a long time, I really tried to have it both ways. I really tried to be able to go out with my friends and stay out late and do everything they were doing, and that didn't work. So I've actually dedicated this time of my life for my healing and for doing what I need to do over staying out late. Now, that doesn't mean I don't have a lot of fun. I'm going rock climbing tomorrow in the morning, and I love rock climbing. I go to the gym. I go stand-up paddleboarding. I go out to eat sometimes. So to address your question about eating out, I'm very particular about the restaurants and really try and choose restaurants that have organic, if possible, grass-fed organic meats as well. But one thing you can do at a restaurant is get wild fish. So with meat, you don't always know if it has hormones, if it's been injected with different things that are going to affect you. But if the fish or seafood is wild, then it's coming from a good source. Now the oceans, do have their own toxins, but wild is always better than farm-raised. So when I go to restaurants, I almost always get salmon and vegetables, and I make sure that they know everything has to be gluten and dairy-free. And actually, you can take it to the next level. You can ask to speak with the manager or the owner of the restaurant and just say, I just want to make sure that this is going to be prepared right so that we can avoid a 911 incident. You can take it to that level. I don't usually, but I do choose restaurants who are aware of what gluten is and know how to work within those dietary restrictions. So I eat out maybe once a week, and I cook pretty much every meal from there. So so I think that answers that question. And no, I don't stay out late very often, on occasion. Okay. Hi, Suzanne. I'm so sorry the volume was low for the first 15 minutes. And yes, we're going to send out a replay to everyone on my list. So make sure you're on my list, transformyourhealthsummit.com. And I know most of you are, but I think some of you came in from Facebook too. So if you're on my list, you will get a replay. And again, I apologize for the volume and the background noise. That was something we didn't anticipate. So we're going to try and take care of that for you. All right. I have time for a couple of other questions if anyone has one. And I know it looks like some of you went ahead and signed off because of the sound problems, so that's unfortunate. So yes, Sharon will make it available to you. Okay, so I missed the website to download the assessment. So you're going to go to transformyourhealthsummit.com/assessment, ASSESSMENT, transformyourhealthsummit.com/assessment, and that is where you will be able to go ahead and download the assessment, which has quizzes for different parts of your health, as well as a couple exercises you can do. And that will just help you get more clarity and identify really what parts of your health that might be lacking. Okay. I have a question about leaky gut from Trisha Wolf. And Trisha, yes, if you have diverticulitis, you can definitely heal that. With gut stuff, it takes a while, and I'll just tell you that mine is still healing, and it's been 1.5 years of really diligent effort, but it's getting there. You know, I sense more and more that the healing is taking place. So it's absolutely possible. Just because you have a label, which is what doctors like to do when they don't really know how to treat you, is they give you a label. It's still absolutely possible for that inflammation to heal. So don't give up. Be really diligent with the dietary changes, and for most people that means gluten, dairy, corn, soy, eggs, nuts, and artificial sweeteners and colors are the things that cause the most problems. So doing an elimination diet or working with someone who can help you identify those food allergies through blood tests and so forth. And I talked a lot about this in video 1. So if you haven't downloaded that video, go ahead and do that. And I think it's Transform Your Health Summit /video opt-in, I believe, is where you can get those videos. And I can also post that again after. Okay, Suzanne, hi. Can you share the nutrition for stable blood sugar chart as a download? Yes, I can, definitely. Yeah, I'll figure out how to do that and get that over to you. But yes, so basically, if it's what I think you're talking about, that was the chart that had where you're going to have 70% of non-starchy carbohydrates, which is vegetables, so 70% non-starchy vegetables, along with 25 to 30% high-quality protein sources, and then another 10 to 15% healthy fats, and the rest can be the starchy carbohydrates, you know, which might be potatoes or sweet potatoes or yams or even a little bit of grains. And if you have stomach problems, you know, it really is great to cut out the grains completely for now. And then you could always go back to non-gluten grains later, perhaps, if that is working for you. Okay. Okay, so PP had another question. Thanks for answering my questions and wondering about drinking wine or alcohol. I have cut out all wine and alcohol for this healing part of my life and being dedicated to that healing. I haven't been drinking at all for 1.5 years, and even before that I was really tapering down because I noticed that it was aggravating my stomach. So I'm, you know, there's nothing wrong with having some if that works for you. If that doesn't work for you, then, you know, it is important to honor that, and maybe do what I've done, is just have a space of time, whatever that means to you, where you're in healing mode, where you're going to bed early and you're not giving your body things that it has to process. It's having a hard time digesting, and that might include alcohol. So really being dedicated to pampering yourself for the short term so that you can have the longer term situation that you're really after. So yeah, no wine or alcohol for me, probably for, I don't know, at least until next year, and then we'll see. You know, it'll go from there. So I'm just listening and paying attention. Thanks for the question. And it looks like time-wise we still have a couple more minutes, so I'm going to see if there are more questions. Okay. Hi, Suzanne again. How many years would you say it took to heal? How many years were you on this purposeful healing journey? So I've really been working at it diligently for a year and a half in terms of being absolutely strict and absolutely protective of keeping my healing going and intact. But for 5 to 6 years, I've been making incremental changes. So trying to cut out the gluten, trying to cut out the dairy. Actually, dairy is something I just found out more recently, but trying to get things on board with that and working with different doctors and different practitioners. So that's been all really purposeful for about 6 years. But in terms of absolutely being really more or less 100% diligent, it's been about a year and a half. So I encourage you, I know that sounds like forever, and I used to be someone who'd be like, I can do something short term but not long term, but really long term is where you're going to get the results. You know, you can't do something short term and expect really long term results. You know, you have to kind of, it goes hand in hand. And that being said too, you can't exercise off a bad diet, a poor diet, or, you know, a low nutrition diet. So that's something to keep in mind too. A lot of people try and use exercise as a way to justify eating poorly, and it actually doesn't work. It actually can just stress out your body more, because if you're eating poorly and over-exercising, then it's going to have an impact on your adrenals. So, okay. Fermented foods, I do feel like can be definitely play a role in the healing. And again, it's what works for you. So trying it, seeing if it works. But I am a fan of fermented foods unless you have candida. If you have candida issues, the fermented foods are actually going to feed the candida. So how do you know if you have candida? If you are having cravings, if you've had unexplained weight gain, if you want sugar all the time, you know, there's different ways to kind of, there's actually a spit test where you can spit into a glass of water first thing in the morning and see if it grows legs, or if it floats on top, then you're fine. If it's growing legs or sinking to the bottom, then that's indicative of candida. So fermented foods, if you have a leaky gut situation, candida or digestive issues, can be an issue, and they can also be a healing agent. So I just advise to be really careful with using those and having awareness. Okay, so I see that we have, let's see, I'm going to do one more question. We're running out of time, and I want to honor your time today. And Suzanne would also like to know, what kind of exercise do I do? That's a great question. So for many, many years, it was all about yoga, and I'm a certified yoga instructor, and I was really, really into it. I actually think it's great to cross-train and do some different things. So I do resistance training at least twice a week. Pilates, weightlifting, free weights, whatever. I like to mix it up. I also still do yoga several times a week. I like to do a spin class or part of a spin class, or get outside and do a bike ride, or rock climbing or stand-up paddleboarding. So I like to mix it up. So with exercise, I really think it's about what works for you, what's fun for you, what feeds your soul, and getting that resistance training in. Just moving, being active, you know, just getting outside and taking a walk. It's really whatever works for you, and doing the resistance training. And I know I've said that 3 times, but it's really important. As we get older, we lose muscle mass. So to help maintain that will also help in maintaining a healthy body weight. So so thanks, Suzanne. I think that, again, it's very individual, but the point is, do something, and do something you love, because, you know, this is your time in your life. Okay, everyone, so we are within a few minutes, and I'm just going to wrap up and again say thank you so much from the bottom of my heart for joining me today, taking time out of your Saturday. And I know It's a lovely day here in Southern California, and I feel so, so blessed that we could spend this time together, and I really hope that you got so much out of this. Go to transformyourhealthsummit.com/assessment, and then you can download the free gift that I've prepared for you, and hopefully it'll be really insightful in terms of helping you identify maybe some missing links, and also the exercises that I've prepared so that you can kind of step up your health one piece at a time. So in the meantime, I'm just going to ask that you have so much compassion and patience for yourself on this journey, and know that it doesn't happen overnight. Know that, you know, it really is something that you'll be working at for a lifetime, but enjoy that process, enjoy that journey. You know, it's a beautiful kind of unfolding. It's a gift that you give to yourself all the time, and I'm just thrilled to be hopefully part of your own healing journey. So I'm going to sign off, and wishing everyone a wonderful, beautiful rest of your day and weekend, and please do something caring for yourself today or tomorrow. What I like to always revert back to is, how can I be the most caring to myself in this moment? If you're struggling, if you're having, you know, you're in pain or whatever, what is the most caring thing I can do for myself in this moment? So just ask yourself that. Do you need to hydrate? Do you need to take some deep breaths? Do you need to close your eyes for a minute? Do you need to lay down? Do you need to give yourself positive, encouraging thoughts? What is it that would really make a difference for you in this moment? And I'll leave you with that. Bye, everyone. Take care.